Hello and welcome to Qsports, and thank you very much if you're just joining us. I am Umudu Gajaga. On tonight's Qsports, we're talking about Gambian players in the Italian league. Whether they're in the Italian Serie A or Serie B, we are going to talk about them exclusively. Is it good for Gambian football? Is it the gateway for some of them, especially the younger ones, to get into bigger and even better leagues? All that on tonight's Qsports. Welcome and thank you if you're just joining us. This is Qsports and I am Mamudu Gajaga. My guest in the studio is Mamudu Barrow, football writer and reporter in the Gambia, but he also looks at Gambian players and their development outside the source of the Gambia. Mamudu, welcome to the studio.
Thanks for having me, Tom.
We are talking about Gambian players in Italy. There are quite a few now. We're talking about Omar Colley, Sampdoria. We're talking about Musa Barrow, who until recently, who made the move to Bologna, was playing for Atalanta. We have Ebrima Colley in the youth system, who plays also in the Atlanta reserve team. He once made his senior debut for Atalanta. And we also have Ebrima Dabo in Roma's books as well. We also have quite a few other ones who are not familiar names, but basically played in the youth system in Italy. Is this good for Gambian football?
I think it's really good. It seems that it is now the gateway for Gambian players. Every time we see new names popping up, even you have Musa Barrow who plays for Bologna, made his debut in the cup game. He started racked up 90 minutes, which was really good for the youngster. So I think Gambian players are doing well as well. They are not only given the opportunity to play in the Italian, be it the top flight or in the lower leagues or in the reserves, but they are also putting up some brilliant performances, as you said, with Ebrima Colley, who seems to be one of the outstanding young players, doing well for Atalanta's reserves, scoring goals. I think 11 goals in 13 appearances. So I think the lads in the Italian leagues are doing so well, and of course they are making their value, and of course no harm because they are taking up the opportunities and of course racking up good performances.
First, we start with Musa Barrow. He, until recently, when he made this transfer to Bologna, £19 million, huge money. 5 years ago, Mamudu, would you have imagined something like that for a Gambian player?
Well, the move is still not complete because it has not been announced, but the indications are clear that he will be on the move. As you said, five years ago, a player that we have followed played so well for Hawks in the local league here. Very brave player who has a strong right foot on him. He can strike from distance. We saw him scoring goals from 35 yards from goal. So he's a good player, and of course I have always been with the opinion that he needs to go outside of Atalanta. To make sure that he becomes the top player that we all expect that he can be. So even though he has the opportunity at Atalanta, but I think with Zapata scoring goals week in, week out, even when they brought in Muriel, the South American, those two players were preferred over him. So I think he was just having limited time, and of course for a player of his age, I think he needs to be playing football week in, week out.
So is this the best deal for him if it goes through and everything goes on well? Because at Atalanta, like you mentioned, he was having less time to play on the pitch. But at the higher level, obviously, you need to be playing week in, week out in order for you to compete among the top players.
Having watched Bologna over the weekend against Torino, they lost on the road 1-0. The striker there is Palacio, the Argentine striker who was with Inter Milan. The age is not on his side. I think with a rejuvenated Musa Barrow, hungry, changing environment, I think Musa can really excel at Bologna because the brand of football that they played, it's similar to that of Atalanta. And of course Musa, we have seen when, especially against Juve, when he lost the penalty,
yes,
but he came up and provided the assist, even though for a player of his age in that stage against the old lady of Juventus, the champions, and of course he had the penalty, missed it, but the way he reacted, that tells you that he's someone who has really grown in terms of his character and of course his confidence. So I think taking the move now to go away from Atalanta to Bologna, I believe he thinks that he's ready, and of course he can really excel. So I think if the move goes through, which clear indication is that he might have his medical today on Monday, and of course if everything goes well, I think Bologna will be the right club for him.
Let's talk about another player here. He's a defender. You interviewed him quite a number of times, Omar Colley. You've watched him play in the Gambian League. Well, first for Lamen, as they play in the Super Navetan called Zonals, and then he played for Walidan, he played for Real de Banjul. This is a player that we've monitored for a few years, and then when he left for Europe, there's been struggles in and there when he played for Belgium, and in the Belgian league before making the move to Italy. Even teams like Tottenham, we had that were on the watch for his signature. Looking at Omar Colley's development when he went to Italy, manning a regular place in that Sampdoria team, is it a surprise?
It's not a surprise for me. I think Omar is one of the most improved Gambian players. I think since he left Real de Banjul for Qsports, Qsports Polisera in the Finnish league, when he joined Ebrima Colley there, I think he's been on the rise, improving season in, season out. He got the move to Djurgården in Sweden, then from Djurgården to Genk, KRC Genk in Belgium, where he had stellar a couple of years. They even qualified for the quarterfinals of the Europa League. That was 3 years ago. And then now getting the move to Sampdoria in the Italian Serie, and of course not only changing environment, of course going there, manning a regular place. I think during the weekend he missed a game in which they won 5-1 due to the cards that he accumulated. But I think he's one standout player that I feel he's really doing very well with Sampdoria. I watched him against the big teams. His last game was against Milan. He had a fantastic performance before that against Juve, even though Cristiano Ronaldo scored that outrageous goal. But Colley was one of the standout players, blocking all that Juve and of course against Milan that they throw at his team. So I think he has really found a new home. He's confident, and of course given that sometimes they played with the back three, he is always in the center. Even when they play a back four, he moves on the left side of the two-man center half. So I think he's really doing really well. And of course for me, being someone that I've interviewed him many times when he's on international duty, I remember in 2017 when I traveled with the Scorpions to Rabat, where they had a 10 days camp, and of course playing 2 friendly matches. That was just before the draw for the quarterfinals of the Europa League. And of course then you have Manchester United. That was the season Manchester United won the Europa League, and he wanted to play against Manchester United because he felt it's a platform that he can show what he has to offer, and of course maybe interest some of the Premier League side, because the Premier League is this league that he dreams of playing. Even though now he is in Italy. That's the epic, and of course he's a fan of Manchester United. So seeing his performances, I think he's for me, I'm really happy for him, and of course I hope that he can continue improving, and of course hopefully get his dream move.
The players that we are talking about here, most of them, man a regular place in our national team. We talk about Musa Barrow, we talk about Ebrima Colley, just recently also Omar Colley. These are players, of course, when they're put into the national team, they strengthen the squad. How do you think they're going to help the Gambia's national squad in terms of strengthening it, competing among the best in Africa?
I'll just take an example. Omar Colley, when he missed some of the matches in qualifying for Egypt 2019, and of course when he came against Algeria, I was in Blida. He was the standout in that Scorpions defense with Footy done. So of course Footy stole the headlines by scoring that late equalizer. But you can see if you go back to the footages of that game, the blocks that OJ provided in the game, they were just outstanding. And of course when you look at Colley, the other Colley, that is Ebrima Colley of Atalanta, he made his debut in Blida. in the cameos that he had. Whenever he's introduced in the second half, you can see the impact that he has in the Scorpions attack. So I think the level that they are playing, that's why most of the time I feel with Musa Barrow, he needs to go out of Atalanta because he has lost his starting place in the national team. In the national team, the reason is that he doesn't have regular playing time with Atalanta. He's always in the squad, but he plays 20, 15 minutes sometimes in the second half. But that is what he's offered at Atalanta. But you can see with E-Boy, even though he's playing with the reserves, but he's playing 90 minutes, he's playing week in, week out. At least he has that game time. And of course, when he comes on international duty, whenever he's given the opportunity, you could see that he has always excelled. So I believe that the Italian Serie A, the Italian leagues have given our players game time, and of course that will really do us good in the national team, because as I said, the players that are playing in Italy, whenever they introduce, they always provide something that the fans and of course the coach is happy with. So
are they like brand ambassadors also? Because once a Gambian player plays in the Italian Serie A and performs well, obviously some coaches would think there is awesome talent in this country. Yeah,
I remember a journalist working for Corriere dello Sport who once wrote to me asking me why is it that Gambian players are doing so well in the Italian league? My response was, we have so many good players who are back home here. They don't have the opportunity that your Musa Barrows, your Ebrima Colley and of the likes of Juara had, because for me, I believe there are even better players who are here in the country, who, when they have the opportunities that these players had, they can even do better than those players. So I feel we have a lot of talent, and of course these players that have had the opportunity are really doing them a huge favor by excelling, and of course hopefully that scouts will come over and of course look at the players that we have back home here.
Let's talk about this teenager Ebrima Colley, also in the squad of Roma. He even once featured for the senior team, although mainly for the reserves. Another good chap.
Yeah, he's a good player. I've read his story. They call what the fairy tale story of Ebrima Colley. I think he was in the squad against AC Milan, even though he didn't play. But to be in the match day squad against AC Milan, of all people, that alone will really boost his confidence. And of course, Roma are doing really well. It's a team that I like personally in the Italian Serie A, with the players that are passed to the likes of Francesco Totti, the likes of Daniele De Rossi. These are all players that I feel that he can look upon and of course build his confidence, and of course hopefully one day become a regular in the team. So he's another young player. He's only 18 years of age. So I think Roma are really giving him the platform. He's been coming in and out of the match day squad, but I feel when he's given the opportunity, I believe he will take it with both hands.
We may not want to talk about migration, but a lot of Gambians have immigrated to Italy, and some of them are in fact playing in the lower leagues, especially the younger ones. Do you think they can come up through the ladder? It's very difficult to come up at the junior category, to go man your place at the senior level and perform consistently and even win a place in a team like, let's say, for instance, Inter Milan or Roma. There are huge challenges. Do you think this can also be like sort of the trend for some of these young Gambians who have immigrated to Italy?
I think Musa Juara is one example that I've gone through the back way. And of course, that was in 2015 or 2014, 2015. And a youngster going through the Mediterranean, the dangerous route to Italy, unaccompanied. He's a good footballer, and of course he was snapped up by Chievo Verona. He made his Serie A debut for Chievo. His contract ran out, and of course he was snapped up by Bologna. So I feel it is not the route that we want our fellow youths, young fellows to go through, but we've seen some that have gone through and of course are good footballers. it has an impact on the local league. I remember one of the Banjul teams, or was it Banjul United, had so many players that migrated through the back way, and of course they struggled at the following season. But I feel the players that have travelled have really done well. They've forgotten the past. I feel they've even used that as an inspiration, even to do even better, to make sure that they fulfill their dreams of going through the back way. So as I said, nobody's encouraging our fellow youths to go through the back way, but those that have gone through, and of course our footballers have really excelled, especially like Musa Barrow. So as we said, the Italian leagues has provided a platform for most of the Gambian players that have travelled to Italy.
On that note, we are going to take a short break, and when we come back, the discussion continues. The Gambian players doing well in Italy, is it the gateway for Gambian footballers? Years have gone by where we are talking about Gambian footballers not having the opportunity, not having the proper agents to get them into the top leagues. But is this particularly the opportunity for them to shine? Welcome back, and thank you very much if you're just joining us. This is Qsports, and I am Momodu Kajaga. My guest in the studio is football reporter and writer Momodu Ba. We were talking about Italy, whether it's a good omen for Gambian footballers and players. There's one player that we left out. Obviously, nobody would doubt the talent of Lamine Diallo, who plays in the Italian Serie B.
Yeah, back started with Chievo Verona. Played.
And by the way, he played for Real de Banjul.
Yeah, he played for Real de Banjul. I think he started with Bacau United. You remember that saga?
Yes.
Bacau United, Real de Banjul. Resulted to Real deducted 6 points or so, even though they recuperated and of course won the league with some points margin. But he has done really well. Maybe he and those that rate him so highly will be disappointed that he's not playing in the Italian Serie A, but he's one good of a player, very brave, who believes in himself, really confident, and then I feel now he's adding goals to his game. We saw he scored against Benin in the 2019 qualifying. I think he started a comeback to that memorable 3-1 success at home against the Squirrels of Benin at home here at the Independence Stadium. He's scoring regularly now for his club. So I think he's someone that many expected to hit the heights in the Italian Serie A, but he got the move away from the Serie A and of course to Serie B.
Now let's talk about the transition. Making it into the Italian league is one thing, but most players, if you ask them, they would say, I want to play in the La Liga, I want to play in the English Premier League, which is like the flagship. Obviously, Senegalese players, most of them started out there in France, the El Hadji Diouf, the Khalilou Fadigas. You know, you talk about so many of their players in that golden generation of the Senegalese team. Most of them played in France and then into the Premier League, and they ended up shining and becoming top players. For the Gambian players, you think there is any opportunity for them, if they perform at the higher stage, to be able to break into the English Premier League?
Well, as I said, I think when you watch Omar Colley and then look at his height and of course how good that he's playing week in, week out for Sampdoria, the only way is that he's playing in the English Premier League, because I feel that for me personally, in my opinion, I think he's a Premier League defender because he has the pace, he is strong, he has the height, wins a lot of aerial duels, and of course can make a lot of blocks, and of course he also has the vision, he can play from the back with the long ball. So I think he has all the characteristics that we've seen week in, week out from Premier League defenders. So I feel if he gets the move now, be it this summer or is it in the next January transfer window to England, I think that will really do him a lot of good. So I feel it's also opportunity for what we have always been saying, that Gambian players are always content with what they have presently. So
in fact, that was going to be my next question, Momodu. Basically, they have often been criticized, and this boils down way back to the likes of Jato Cisse, Ibu Silla, Idrissa Sonko, because we had a lot to watch during their generation. Some of them we watch them play, some of them we watch them on television play, that some Gambian players are content with the little that they have. When you play in Holland or you play in Sweden or Germany, you think that's satisfactory to you. But that hunger, that zeal, that motivation, we can take Sadio Mane as an example. From a village, Bambali, in the Casamance region of Senegal, and then break through into the Senegalese league, and then made it way to France, and then played in the French league before making the switch into the English Premier League for Southampton. This is a player whose story, he started from humble beginnings in African football, and you can talk about a lot more players. I know, yes, you may claim that you don't have the opportunities, but sometimes when the opportunities are available, I think they can grab it. Absolutely.
It's fair criticism because we are always of the opinion that some of them, especially when they're in the same clubs with other African their other African brothers, we could see those players will leave them there and of course go to better clubs, but they will stick there. Even they are important players at those clubs, but they always fail to make the leap going into the next level. So I feel that boils down to the mentality of some of our brothers and of course the players. So I feel there needs to be a lot of zeal, hunger, determination to make the next step, because there is only one thing permanent in life, that is a change. You always have to change for good. So I feel but we could see that now the trend is changing with Musa Barrow, who is very comfortable at Atalanta. If he wants to stay, they will allow him to stay, but with all indications that he's on the move, I think for me that shows that there is a shift in the way that our players think, and of course the attitude that they have. So for me, I think it's really good. Even with the likes of Musa Barrow, was an important player at Reading. So he left Reading on loan, and of course went to Turkey, where he's playing week in, week out. He has added goals to his game, and of course when he came on international duty on his return after that spell out in the national team, he provided assist against Angola, where he was the main threat against the Palancas Negras. Even at home here, he had it, two sides of the game, but you could say he's someone, when he came back to the national team, he's a better player from the first time we saw him made his debut against South Africa.
Well, finally, we are going to talk about our domestic league. There have been matches in the weekend. On Sunday, we've seen Brikama United won against Hawks by 2-1. Banjul United drew 0-0 with Real de Banjul. Gamtel won against Armed Forces by 1-0, and that has made some shift in the table. Now it appears Gamtel are on top in 10 points after 5 matches. Real de Banjul second by virtue of goal difference, and Brikama United are third, all on 9 points. This is the very league where some of these players that we are talking about came from. Yes, we can say the league is poor, fine. We've criticized the league in terms of its low level, the pay, and even the playing surface, the pitch is in a very bad condition. But this is the very league that provided some of these players. I think, don't you think when it comes to investment, we have to do more to invest in our league so that we can attract a lot of clubs to come in for the Gambian players? Because obviously the raw talent is there.
I always pity the players because when you look at the fields that we are playing there,
some of them are virtually unplayable.
And when you look at Serekunda West, look at Serekunda East, Manjai, Banjul, for me, with all honesty, I don't feel.
I think even Brikama now.
Even with Brikama, even Brikama is
it's dead. It's virtually a dead pitch.
Dead, but at least it's better than the Serekunda East, the Serekunda West, Manjai, Banjul. These players deserve to play on a better surface than the surface that they are playing, because when you I've been to this former mini stadium, top pitch, good football, and of course very rare that you watch matches at Soma and of course you don't have goals because the pitch is very good, and of course when the two teams are at it, they will definitely play good football, and of course good football results to goals. So looking at the standings, I think it's very, very, very tough. maybe we can talk about the inconsistency in the teams, winning, drawing, but
no team with 100% record in terms of winning.
I think it's only Real de Banjul and is it Wa Banjul that are yet to lose. Stand to be corrected.
And Brikama also are yet to lose.
And also Brikama United. So Gamtel, after a difficult season last season, and they're there leading the standings in 10 points after 5 matches. It's only 5 matches, but I feel I'm of the opinion that this season we will be much more competitive than the last season. Last season was great. We went up to the wire. Three teams were within a chance of winning it. Brikama at the end deservedly nicked it. Even though Real de Banjul might feel that they deserved it more. They deserved it more, but they had the consolation of winning the cup double. So, but I feel the level also that we are playing, I think we are scoring goals now. Even though we had so many matches that ended in a draw, but at least goals are being scored. I watched Real de Banjul, Brikama United. Brikama fought back and of course nicked a point from Real. The match ended 2-2 yesterday. They won against is it Armed Forces?
Yeah.
Against Hawks. Armed Forces lost to Gamtel. So Banjul United, with all credit to them, they held Real de Banjul, a very competitive game. So I feel there is a competitive edge in the league, but the pitches are not helping the players. And
we are going to end it on that note. Thank you very much, Mamadou Ba, for coming to the show. And it's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you, and it's always a pleasure to be here.
Until we come your way next week, keep on sporting and bye for now. We're out.